series of events where we talk about India beyond the metros and how they are shaping not just the fortunes of companies that are investing in it, but also will predict the fortunes of the companies that will look at that market more closely. I think the rest of the discussions during the second half of the day will continue to focus a lot more on what this potential is and how we as marketers can capitalize on this. Strength and opportunity. So I do not want to really allude to numbers or talk too much about the opportunity that these markets represent, because I think those are facts that will reveal itself as we move along. I want to talk to you today about two completely unrelated subjects, and yet they are related in a certain way. I think we are in Gurgaon, which is part of the National Capital Region, a suburb of Delhi. One would say the most happening part of Delhi today is Gurgaon, and this is really the nerve center of what's going on as a microcosm of developing and emerging India. This really represents what India is all about. For those of you who have been here long ago or have been here long enough, would recall Gurgaon as nothing but an adjunct of Delhi 20 years ago, with none of these high-rises, none of these swanky metros, none of the development that was there, and today the face has completely changed. What has also changed is the way the people have looked at politics and economics in our country. I think the election results that came in last week have left everybody surprised with the sheer size of the mandate that the winning party, Aam Aadmi Party, got, as well as the manner in which they upset a whole lot of political pundits in terms of the kind of results that they got. I think there is a learning in it for all of us as marketers. I think all of us as marketers go out trying to convince and educate a certain set of consumers into the product proposition that we have and the value that we bring to the table. We assume that we are reaching the right audience with the right message. However, it is extremely important that the message as well as the medium through which that message is being conveyed and an assessment of the target audience to which we are conveying that message is accurate. Any lack of accuracy there or any miss from the target there will result in the same thing that happened to the ruling central government party, which could not make it in Delhi elections. And I think that goes to show that it is extremely important to figure out where the straw is moving when the wind is blowing fast. And let us not kid ourselves. The economy, the world today with social media and the proliferation of information is moving at a pace that is unbelievable. It is unique in a sense that in human history, at no point of time have facts and information exchanged itself so fast as it does today. And that makes our job as marketers extremely difficult to be able to gauge the sense and perceptions of our customers and to be able to respond to that in a timely manner. UnMetros are nothing but a wake-up call for all our marketers. I think the demand, the aspirations of the people in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities of this country are increasing by the day. For those of us who spend a lot of time in metros itself, do not recognize or realize the kind of aspiration that exists in these markets. And aspirations have always existed. Somebody who's traveling economy class would want to fly business class. Somebody who's flying business class would want to fly first class. So that's a human tendency. What is important is that how do we gauge the quantum and value of that demand that is there, that aspiration that is there, and are we able to juxtapose that parallelly to ability to procure those services, which is essentially the factor of affluence, the factor of understanding whether the economic capability to afford those products and services has come about or not. Frankly, if you assess the markets today, that capability has arrived. The day of UnMetros have arrived where they are not just rising in aspirations, they are also rising in ability to pay for those aspirations, and the affluence levels is a testimony to that. I think it's important that we deliberate on how this affluence can be tapped effectively by marketers and how some of the marketers are very successfully doing it today. And I'm sure in some of the keynote addresses as well as other panel discussions, you will hear case studies of how companies have gone about in doing that, and perhaps there's a learning in it for all of us. Enough said about Delhi elections and the topic of UnMetros and how they are, driving the consumer sentiment and consumer demand. What is also important for us to understand what is happening globally. As all of you know, the global economy continues to be in a challenging space. We know for a fact that Chinese economy continues to grow extremely large. It is becoming a very big player in the global economic scene. The European market, because of the European, the EU-related challenges, whether it is challenges with Greece, the challenges on account of decline in petrochemical prices or price of oil, has gone through several turmoils. In this scenario, the world looks at India and China as two harbingers of growth, two centers of growth that can sustainably provide an audience, a consumer segment that will continue to consume the products and services that are being made. Everybody recognizes China as a big success story. Now, what's the China success story all about when you look at it demographically and when you look at it geographically? For all of us who have looked at China, the fact remains that the maximum amount of development that China has seen on its eastern and its southern coastal areas. And those are the areas, with the exception of Beijing, are the only ones that have developed most economically. The implication of that has been that there has been a large influx of population from the hinterland, from the tier 2 cities of China into these cities, to the extent that, unlike India, where it's a democracy and you can go settle in any part of the country as and when you please like, which is not the same in China, they've actually had to impose strict restrictions on who can go and live where, to the extent of actually controlling the education of their children and health and medical facilities basis that. I think China is now facing the classic dilemma of too much growth in its core cities and not enough attention in its tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But frankly, they have addressed this problem in the last couple of years. You know that US is one of the largest exporters into China. The Chinese love American consumer goods, they love their electronics, they love all the products that come out of US. You'd find it amazing that almost 60% of American exports into China do not land into the top 8 cities of China. The next 15 cities, because China does not split its cities into a tier 2 or tier 1 the way India does, so this classification is not from an Indian standard point of view, but if you look at the next 15 cities beyond the top 8 cities, they consume as high as 60% of American exports into China. The fact remains is that there is a huge market there. The American companies have discovered it, and they are creating a distribution and they're creating a marketing value chain to be able to address that market. How many American corporations or Indian corporations can say with pride that they have a robust, differentiated strategy for the tier 2 cities of India? There are a few good case studies, but I don't think enough has been done. And I think that is where the real opportunity lies. If we have to take India's development index to beyond 5% to a 7.4% above 7%, we will have to make sure that these cities are captured extremely effectively well. And I'm not talking about the rural market opportunity. The rural market opportunity is a long tail that will take its own time to develop infrastructurally, to really grow to a level where it starts impacting the gross domestic product of the country substantially on sectors outside of agriculture. I am talking about the core consumption-led services. People buying mobiles, cars, buying education services, going online, looking at entertainment as an avenue to spend. And once the recognition and avenues to capture of these markets becomes robust, you will see a sea change in the way the marketers look at these markets. It is our fervent hope that this realization dawns sooner rather than later. At Dainik Bhaskar, we take pride in the fact that we represent 14 states through our 66 editions across the country, all of them in tier 2 and tier 3 markets. We do not represent metros simply because we realize that the future of India is lying in the UnMetros, and we will make every effort to make those markets accessible to marketers. With this, I'd like to thank you for taking your time today and being here with us. I hope and I'm sure that you will find the discussions and deliberations today very productive and informative, and I look forward to engaging with you further on this subject. Thank you very much.